Hi everyone, this is Killshot from the 999 Dead, and this is The Walking Dead Season 9 new teaser review. We've got some brand new images up there. It is epic. It is scary as ever. These little snippets and these little clips really got you, it's got some people on edge. I've gotten a lot of messages, and they said, this is creepy. And one thing that's really interesting is how they, with the 9/1 season premiere that was out there, was a lot about the characters, and this has been all about the Whisperers so far. They are going full steam ahead. So first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for being here on a early Saturday morning. I know there's a lot of things going on with the weather and all across. I mean, this is more probably for our international audience as well, but in the United States, I got to tell you, it's there's an epic snowstorm going all the way across the country. I heard this morning, I think it was 9 to 10 inches in Kansas City. If you guys are football fans, you know the Chiefs and the Colts will be playing today, so apparently there's going to be a lot of snow there. All across the East Coast is going to get hit in the next couple days. So what better thing to do than hang out with us, stay warm, grab some cup of coffee or something, and watch some of the playbacks, because over the next couple days, we're going to be doing a lot of streams. Steph, you guys are going to get hit too. It's going all the way across to Kansas City to Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and I think it's going to hit up in New York and all of that. And it looks like over the next couple of days, there's going to be Jon Snow. All right. Well, this will be your own personal Jon Snow. Not in Florida, though. You're right, Fluff. So, come up toward D.C. area, and then you can hang out. We can build a snowman. So I just want to throw it out there. I want to get immediate reactions to, first of all, the picture that's up there right now. You can see Alpha, you can see the size of Beta, certainly, and, of course, this guy is the same shirt. This is the creepy walker that was walking a little bit funny, which absolutely, I would say at this point, there's no way this could be anybody except the cowboy. So, we can debate. I've not seen confirmation whether Monroe from Grimm is going to be on the show yet. So, I know I put a bold prediction out there. I think it's him. It might not be him, but it's certainly, I do feel like whoever the cowboy is, that's the cowboy. And then the cowboy was walking, and then you can see that there's a few of them with their machetes, and they are at attention. Same shirt, same holes in the shirt. So they know him. So there's no way in my mind that this could be somebody from the inside. Even with the mask on, I just don't think that Alpha is that, shallow that she's not going to be like, okay, there's 5, 6 of my people haven't. You're relative. Look, the mask could conceal a certain amount, but you got to think that she knows her people well enough that they're not going to get that close to her. I could be wrong. But let me just throw it out there. What are your first initial reactions? Those people watching the playback that haven't tuned in yet, a lot of people are going to say, I didn't get the notification, Kills. I know that happens. There it is right there. Najee's like, I didn't get a YouTube notification. Najee, in most cases, if you hit the bell, you will get it. But I have heard in some situations, and especially now, because there's only 10, 15 people in and out the door, and we know our streams are much larger than that. I think there's going to be a lot of people that probably didn't get the notification. It's okay. Watch the playback. And Wilson, you love the trailer. They're making plans for the fair? Yeah. So, Bumblebee, do you think that they're making plans for the fair? They're there with their mask on, and then they're just going to take their suits off, take their masks off, and then go in? Or do you think they've already went into the fair and then they're just kind of meeting afterwards? The fair's happened, and then they sort of went, back, got their gear, and now they're getting ready to go in and really wreak some havoc. What are your thoughts with that? Steph, you want them to be maybe you'll see them a little creepier, but for me, they're eerie. And the fact that the focus has just been on them, planning their moves in the fair. I did not listen to the audio, and we don't have any of our Whisper supporters here right now. I saw it a couple times, and I was just kind of checking it out, but I didn't hear kind of the what was going on in the background. I'll go back and double check that for our stream tomorrow. Not gross, but creepier. Yeah, there's something about, though, decapitations that can get you really creepy in a hurry. And with these guys, girls, you see a mix of the Whispers. With these people, they just seem to have this loyalty with the weapon. So they've got these machetes. And, I guess my question is, what I'm trying to understand with the Whispers, what is it to this point that has gotten them, even some of the most vile villains out there cannot kill 100% without a little bit of regret. What is it about Alpha and Beta right there and these people that are following that could probably go in the fair and just massacre complete strangers without any regard? What is it that has not only darkened her and Beta, but have this carryover impact to every single person that's there? That there's no gray area. There's no, well, you know what, maybe we should save this one. They're a little younger. Maybe we should save this one. They're pregnant. What is it about this group that just doesn't care about anything? I can understand the leader being twisted. I can understand the right-hand person of the leader being twisted. But, it seems like there's just this unwavering loyalty. See, and I think that's a good call out as well, Steph. How long have they been watching the building? I think that's important. We know that, and that's after both the time skips, but we know that Connie had that feeling someone was watching them. We feel like maybe Daryl, looking over his shoulder a little bit, like somebody out there. Daryl's a tracker. So I think that's a great point. I don't think they've just moved into the area. I think they have been watching, and I think they have been studying. But if they are studying, is there something that you think that the groups do that just really set them off or really take them to a different level? So if they have been watching, I understand it's one thing to say, okay, we're watching you. We kind of want what you have. We're watching you, and, we're conservationists, and you've been killing the crops. Look, I get every group's got their own, MO. But what do you think there's anything particular? Yeah. Hey, I apologize for YouTube. This was posted an hour and a half ago, everybody. So I'm not sure why notification didn't go out. But a few people are starting to get the notification now. Well, welcome, Emmy, Kel, the rest of the group. Robert says, I really hope that they show Alpha's dominance because general audience is going to wonder why Alpha's group didn't try to kill her. And Robert, I think, and especially even in some of our streams, we're going to have to dissect the comic psyche of Alpha because Alpha is such a new character. Some of our TV show fans know about Alpha. I certainly don't know all the ins and outs, and I do want to know, and I do want to learn. But I don't think it's going to take very long. I think within a couple of episodes, we're certainly going to see what she sees as her priority, what she sees as important, not continuing a human way of life. So, Najee, I'm down with that. Like, anybody that doesn't live like the Whisperers live shouldn't live. Is that a fair assessment? But they still have to eat. They still have to, there's certain things that they have to do. And I guess that's part of what I'm looking for with this group is what part of them is human? Yeah, Casey, that's probably another good point. Eugene and Rosita out there with the radio trying to contact people. That's a great point. So, Najee, to your point, could be they don't like the human way of life. They see them as primitive. Casey's point, they're out there trying to contact more people, which is going to be more humans. It's going to kind of go over their borders, go over their territory. Not saying they're right. Not saying that I want to empathize or sympathize with their way of life or even understand totally their way of life. But there's always a reason, and the reason cannot overpower the dominance and the evil. Very, very tricky situation for the writers is to make sure the rationale of this group is very, very limited. So I think I like the storyline better of that they disagree with the way people live and what human life should be, as opposed to, well, you're on our land. Because, maybe that's not gray. Maybe that's the 49th shade of gray. Is, well, you're on my property, so I'm going to have to kill you. I get that. I understand. And there's certain people, especially people that are sympathetic toward the Whispers, that are going to jump all over that. I don't want that to be the storyline. I would much rather, I think to Najee's point, it be, you don't live the way we live, then you're either going to join or die. So let me transition that to another slightly gray plot area. Will the Whispers give them that opportunity? I mean, it appears they didn't give Jesus that opportunity. He trespassed. You're where you shouldn't be. They might have given Rosita the opportunity. It kind of goes back to Rosita. So let me ask this question. 3 possible scenarios. Did they, A, spare Rosita because they wanted to give a few of them the opportunity in case they want to get a surrender or get them to, join or die? That's A. B, even though Rosita was very confused, was she strong enough to get away? Or C, did they leave Rosita there as bait so they could follow them back and find out a little bit more about where they live, how many are there? So did they purposely, and I feel like, I'll give you my answer. I feel like it's C. I feel like they could have killed Rosita. But I think they just used her to wait to see who shows up, how many show up, take them back. We can watch outside their gate, see who's there. I got to think that's Alpha's thing, that she is very calculated. So, once again, and I'm trying not to do this, and if Gamma or Chosen One Beta or Omicron or the rest of our Whisperer fans were here, they would absolutely say, Casey, to your point, they went too far out. They were trying to radio for help. They were where they shouldn't be. They were scaring, as far as we know, Rosita and Eugene. They possibly could have spared Rosita. The group went back out into their territory to find Eugene. Jesus is killing them, and they killed Jesus. So I basically just did what I didn't want to do, and I just gave you some validation for understanding and perhaps even supporting the whispers. You know, it's in my nature just to play the devil's advocate and to leave it open-ended until we get more data. So I need to know that they've been a little darker for a little longer. So with that being said, I guess a little bit of a backstory, probably not the worst thing in the world. A little bit of a backstory might actually get me a little bit more fired up and like them a little bit less. So Mark Kuhn says, the Whispers have made an ally of the Walkers. I'm guessing they don't want people killing the Walkers, but regular people have to kill the Walkers. In the words, yeah, that is a conundrum. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Look, there's a lot of Walkers out there, for one. And I don't know how the Whispers necessarily view the Walkers. I guess I'm kind of interested in that. A few do have to die. And those Whispers watching the playback, and those that really, really know, are they still killing some of the Walkers, or do they just want these complete armies and they don't worry about them whatsoever? I mean, they do have the masks. Steph, I think to your point, that certainly sheds a dark shadow over this group. It's not like the first time they have killed. So Fluff says they've been watching. They see how our group can't even get along with each other. So how can they trust our group? That's an excellent point. Very well said. So we'll start out. I'm going to put that down just as my future notes. Just a lack of trust for their way of life. Stephen Nolte says, I believe the Whispers have been watching survivors for a while, wasn't doing anything until they crossed into their territory. So, you know, a combination. Oh, boy. See, you guys are doing it already. It's not a bad thing. It's just a difficult thing to understand. And now you can see why these teasers and these previews have to be so twisted and so dark and so focused on the evil nature of the Whispers, because the more we understand them, the less diabolic they're going to ultimately appear. And then ultimately, the bigger character that they're going to have to kill in order to really piss us off a little bit more. Because when they start killing their own, nobody's going to care. They start killing, characters that were former saviors, nobody's probably going to care. Especially if we give them the slightest little benefit of the doubt. So I just think we need them more twisted, and I think we need now. You know what? You know what you guys just did? You guys just killed Ezekiel. Thank you. The more we sympathize, the writer's going to go back to the drawing board. They're going to say, "Yep, DJ, that didn't quite do it for the group. We need a big one. We need to really, really upset the audience. Send Carol. Send Michonne. No, don't. Not Carol, not Michonne." So I think it's important we keep in mind that the Whispers have these masks from other people that they have brutalized. That's going to kind of nail it back home. Once again, some of you guys that just got the notification, come on, Google. You're a $700 billion company. You can at least notify all of our viewers of when the stream's going to take place. Wow, Thomas D., that is super, super bold. I think Carol's safe. I'm holding on to, no matter how much we give the Whispers a pass, that ultimately that is going to be completely trumped by the emotional situation that Carol was put in. That's why I think a potential death of Henry is going to be so shattering, because nobody really cares about Henry, but they care that Carol has bonded again and that Carol has a family. And if Carol loses Ezekiel and Henry, which I think is very, very possible, that does a couple things. It does strengthen the friendship with Carol and Daryl. That Carol will once again realize that Daryl is the only person that's always going to be there for her. He's always... I think that'll also allow for, in an indirect sort of way. I mean, look, we want to see a little bit more Daryl dialogue, right? And here, that would kind of potentially, if Daryl's a shoulder to cry on, that would give him a little bit more, it would humanize him a little bit more. I think humanize is probably the most overused word of the last 2 years. But I don't know that I can state it any differently. I certainly think we know Daryl has compassion, but Daryl doesn't always speak compassion. And look, some people say actions are louder than words, but you do occasionally need some words. And you might as well take the gloves off. If Carol's going to lose Ezekiel, let's just do it. Let's just reset it all together. If Carol's going to lose Henry, let's just reset it all together. So Carol might as well lose Ezekiel and lose Henry. Let's not put her halfway in an emotional state. Let's just do it. Let's just kind of wreck her world, because that's what's going to ultimately lead us to the entire hatred and despising of the Whispers. And then if her one outlet is Daryl, and Daryl is incapacitated, and, well, hey, we haven't really delved into this either. Think about this, all right? I'm going to take it to a whole different level. I probably should have saved this for a Sunday night when everybody's here. But we keep talking about how potentially, and I think Casey said it, I care for Carol's grief. Let me throw this out to Steph. Let me throw this out here specifically to the Cuervo Queen. All right, Steph. If Ezekiel and Henry are gone, and a lot of us are worried about Carol's grief, what about Daryl being tied up and having to watch Carol's grief and what Carol goes through and not being able to do anything about it? Not like the Negan situation where he jumped up and was willing to give his life for Rosita. Think about that dual impact. And I think that's kind of been glossed over, right? That, Carol's going to lose it, but you've got two people feeling the same thing. Now, Michonne may or may not be there, but let me say this, that with the amount of Carol fans out there and the amount of Daryl fans out there, I don't know that there's anything that could be more, and Daryl would. He would die for Carol, but if he's not in a situation where he can, and the Whispers might, well, not might, I think the Whispers will be a lot more guarded than the Saviors were. And Negan wanted Daryl alive. He wanted to break Daryl. So imagine Daryl snapping and Carol snapping. That's all you need. So I know, we had kind of talked about a little bit of, not sympathy, but a little bit of understanding for the Whispers. That all goes out the window if they go to the fair, they kill Ezekiel. It all goes out the window if Daryl and Carol are captured. It all goes out the window if they have to witness a beheading of Henry. One, it would be unbelievable for television seeing Henry beheaded. Not that I like it. I'm just saying it would be up there with the Glenn death. And for Carol and Daryl to have to go through that, and for us as audience members, I don't think, I really, really don't think they could leave it on that note, though. I honestly think that something, and this is why I do think that Negan will turn the corner and that Negan might potentially be able to help the group. I just have this feeling with all this darkness and this teaser and how they've been watching and how they, and I think Casey said a little bit earlier, this looks like they're getting ready to storm the fair. So all of these images, I think, the fair is not going to go over lightly. It's a big deal. There's an event going on, and if I had to really put my money on it, I think it's going to be a rapid succession of death. I feel like Ezekiel's going to be the first person to go at the fair from a symbolic nature and also from an organizational standpoint. Then I think the groups are going to go crazy. I think Tammy Rose is done. I think Alpha's going to kill a few more, and I really think that Daryl and Carol are going to be hostage, and Henry will be that. I just see these guys sitting around a campfire with, not like the lineup, but there was something cold and dark about the lineup and Negan, and I guess it was because it happened at night, and I just see this as a night scene taking place. And do you guys remember, you may not, because many of you might not have been here, but when we were doing some of the streams and some of the videos about Negan's lineup, one thing that I always hoped for, and if you don't remember, it's fine, but one thing I always hoped for was Jesus will come in and at the end sort of save them. I knew the comic dynamic. I knew, they would be left there helpless. I knew that Negan would drive away, and Daryl was a wild card. But my hope was that Jesus would create some type of distraction at the end and be able to get involved. And I guess what I'm doing is I'm kind of hoping out for that if there is this border scene and there is this death, that we don't have to wait 6 months and just these images of Henry dying and Carol and Daryl Michonne being helpless. I guess a better situation for me to understand it would be maybe the border scene, maybe, there's heads on pikes, but then somebody, and the only person that I can think of, maybe Aaron, maybe Negan, maybe Aaron and Negan combined, somebody that we don't expect, just kind of shed a little light, give a little bit of hope. Because it's going to be a rough 8 episodes. Or a beta death. But it's got to be a little bit of give and take. So, yeah, Casey, maybe a beta death or Negan taking out Beta in some sort of way just to sort of give us a little bit of that. Maybe hope's the wrong word, but a little bit of that energy and a little bit of that, hype us up a little bit for the other side going into season 10. Thomas D, no. I look at it from a couple different ways. And I think you make a great point. Aaron could be out there, and actually, Thomas, you make an excellent point. Because if Michonne is indeed captive, the most poetic situation out there would be Judith going to Negan and soliciting his help to save Michonne, her mom, and then Carol and Daryl. So I think that's even more poetic than Aaron. Now, Aaron, Negan, and Judith, but that would be, I'll throw this question out to the group, and this will be the last question before we wind it down. If Carol and Daryl watch the death of Henry, Michonne is there, and we're just an emotional wreck because of those two things, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll do it as a 1 to 10, and please leave in your comments below, how heartwarming would it be for Judith to go recruit a reformed Negan and them to make the plan to go into the Whisperer camp and come up with a way to try to save them. Let me know your thoughts on that. A Judy and Negan partnership. And I certainly think that would be a 7-year time skip, a changed Negan. A Negan is willing to go out there and put it on the line for Judith's mom to do anything for that child. I think that would be phenomenal. Now, whether or not he gets Lucille back, not sure I want to see that. But, I might be okay. I might be okay with Judith just coming up and saying, here, and Negan taking out a couple Whisperers on the way in the door. And then maybe kind of a catchy, corny Negan line in partnership. I would absolutely love it. All right, everybody, we have hit 30 minutes. This is our Saturday morning stream. Once again, there's a whole lot of people that are just popping in. There's Whisperer Zeta. Some of the Whisperers showed up. I apologize on behalf of Google that you guys did not get the notification. It happens from time to time. Please watch the playback. Really good interaction, really good dialogue. We will be back here at noon tomorrow. So on this channel, doing it live all over again. So mark your calendars. We're going to be back on our regularly scheduled programs. We're also going to do a couple things. I know I've told you guys the cold is gone, so the comic book reads are going to happen on the 999 Gaming channel. Just for sake of references, short-term and long-term, let me make this announcement to those people that are watching the video. There will be 4 channels only. We're only going to focus on 3 of them. I'm going to explain that a little bit more and how it's going to play out. 999 Gaming is going to be there. We are going to do live streams on that when Walking Dead kicks off. We're going to do a lot of our mixed contest. The caption contest is going to show up on 999 Gaming tomorrow. The comic book reads are going to be on 999 Gaming. The Walking Dead live streams up until the time the show starts are going to be on this channel, the 999 Dead channel. Also, the 999 Army channel, which we want to get everybody to subscribe to that. That is going to be some of our spoilers, some of our sports, some of our random things that we just get together and talk about, and especially random things. And the 4th channel we're not even talking about right now is going to be 999 Live. That's going to be when we do live events. It's going to be when we do Comic-Cons, all of those things. You'll just get a deeper look, but we're not ready to do that yet. The 999 Plays channel, 999 Sports, we're not even going to focus on content on those. Everything's going to be consolidated in those. So subscribe, set the reminders. You'll know where we're going to be at. But right now, just the big 3 we're going to do. Yes, Wilson, the short spoilers will be returning, and those are going to be on the 999 Gaming channel. So that'll be on gaming. And then what we want to do is on the 999 Dead right here is kind of get our core group. It eliminates some of the trolls that are out there. It's the people that we know that made the effort to find us and want to be here. 999 Army is going to be all the other stuff that we do, hanging out, random things, other TV shows that we're going to talk about. And then, of course, 999 Live. You guys will hear more about that during the summer. Don't even worry about that right now. So that's everything we got going on. Thank you so much. Appreciate everybody being here. Shout out to all the Whisperer subs. You guys are about to get your moment in the sun. It's going to be rough, but just goes to show in a 999 Dead, we can all get together and talk about our favorite TV show. Thanks, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow at noon. Have a good afternoon. Peace.